My ex-wife wants me to support her affair child because her boyfriend dumped her, and is being difficult with child support. Advice? Sorry for the length of this, but I needed to rant. In short, I married my ex-wife when we were young. We were together for 10 years and married for 6, and I discovered she was cheating on me in 2014. One morning, she came back from an appointment all happy and told me I was going to be a father for the third time. I had known for a couple months up until this point, and it made me sick getting intimate with her. We hadn't had in over 5 months, and she told me she was 10 weeks pregnant. I was devastated. When I informed her I knew everything, she attempted to deny it, and when she tried to tell everyone the date of her conception, she was unsteady, and she couldn't seem to get it quite right. She didn't realize how careless she had become, and she believed that if I accused her of cheating, I wouldn't rummage about in her room. So I left her, and her family reacted badly to the images I sent them. Nevertheless, only her brother and father expressed regret, and my ex-wife cut them both off as a result of my actions. She pleaded with me to return, but I refused, and within a month she had moved in with her affair partner, which I discovered via our children. Even though our divorce was exceedingly tough, I was finally free of her after a year. I concentrated my efforts on work and raising my children, and everything seemed to be going well. I meet the man who will become my fiancé. 3 years after leaving my ex-girlfriend, she had just divorced, and had 2 daughters, ages 5 and 1. I loved her and her children, as well as both of my children, and I enjoyed spending time with these daughters as well. 18 months later, we moved in together, and we formed our own family unit. My fiancée and I got engaged in August, and she said yes. We were both overjoyed to have found someone who actually made us happy, and our children were informed and are now quite delighted. After telling my ex, who had been courteous to my wife up until this point, something happened. Once she found out we were getting married, she became a different person. Despite the fact that I continue to communicate with her brother, he has informed me that she became obsessed with the prospect of getting married, and brought it up several times with her boyfriend. This caused him to leave her, and he became difficult with regard to paying child support for her son. I offered to find her a lawyer who was not expensive, and I knew a few who could make her search easier for her. The problem is that I gave her the number of someone, but she told me she wasn't sure she wanted to cause more drama. I told her that her ex still had priorities to adhere to, and that he shouldn't walk away, but should instead do the right thing, and she accepted my offer. When she contacted me a few days later, she asked if I would be willing to give her more money each month for her child. I informed her that he wasn't my child, and that I had already given her enough money for the other children. When she found out that I paid for things for my fiancé's children all of the time, she thought it was strange that I allowed them to call me dad as well. The youngest didn't understand because she had never met her biological father, and the oldest only started calling me dad one day after witnessing her sister do so for months. I was able to explain that it was their choice to call me dad. The fact is that I was occasionally responsible for little expenses for the girls, but my fiancé was in charge of everything else for them. But my ex-girlfriend viewed this as a major issue, and she now behaves as if I am suddenly awash with cash, when in fact I am not. I haven't reacted to her since she said that to me, but I am certain she will bring it up this weekend when she picks up the kids from school. I don't want to become involved in the legal process again, like I did with the divorce, since it would leave me emotionally exhausted, and she doesn't comprehend the concept of saying no. Is there any way I could do this without having to constantly dispute or fight with her? I will say this though, I am legally listed on the birth certificate, something I battled for when she wanted to put her down. I have even considered getting legal engaged with this woman, who behaves as if there are no rules and will fight until one of us dies as a result of her nonsense. Story 2. Wife cheated the whole time. I first wrote under a different identity that my wife is familiar with, and I didn't want her to come across anything, so I erased everything and started again with a new account, and I truly need the aid of you wonderful individuals once more. The long and the short of it is that I have been suffering from severe anxiety since D-Day, November 16th, due to the fact that my wife was having a physical and emotional affair with a man who was supposed to be my friend throughout the entire time we were married. I apologize in advance for the massive wall of text that is about to descend upon me. When we first met, she confessed that she had been cheating, and that she had been killed by her father because he suspected she was cheating. She was gone. Because I had zero faith in her and recognized I was being drip-truthed, we attempted to rectify things, which ended in catastrophe because no one had the whole story yet. She asserts that she never saw it, never touched it, and so forth. Although I might have forgiven her for it since it had been so long, 9.5 years married 10 ago, I couldn't forgive her for the fact that she kept talking to him during the whole ordeal because I felt he was a great person. The big day arrived shortly after I returned from hunting. In the Messenger, I saw that my Facebook had been hacked and clicked on it out of curiosity to find out what had happened. I was able to see her in my account. Now, since I've never known her password or anything else about her, I could never have logged into her account, which meant she had to have known. But in any case, it was right there. I was having second thoughts about whether or not she was being loyal, so I clicked it. The messages going to him said she needed to be more adventurous in her invitation to him inside the home since I was away for the weekend and she had the house to herself. I spotted them before they reached him. He wishes he could have made it. I've already expressed my embarrassment about spying. Her bag was discovered to contain a marijuana vaporizer that she said had been provided to her. There was then a pot in her car that she claimed was given to her by one of her friends, and she showed me a video she had taken on her phone of her body in the tub, panning from her feet to face, not showing crotch, but her reconstructed chest. I had witnessed her go through stage 3 breast cancer, blowing a kiss and winking before the camera returned to her feet. That she said she texted to her closest friend in order to make me feel ashamed for staring at her. I despise the way I seem. I even checked at her smart watch after she reset the password on her phone to see whether she had received any messages. My buddy and I observed some nudism again, this time without a crotch, with another female she works with, to whom her friend said, "Great view, want me to come over," and so on. A few days later, her female buddy approached her and asked if WW would want to be devoured. I roused WW from her sleep and informed her that I had a question for her. She came into work one morning and was dissatisfied with her job. I inquired as to whether she still wanted to be devoured. What exactly does she do? As a result, I will repeat myself. What? She exclaimed. No. Why? When I told them, "Oh well, you did at 8:30 tonight," they added, "I thought maybe you still might, and I could assist you with that. If you saw her face, you'd want to poop." So I inquired as to how long the lesbian affair had been going on, which she first denied before later admitting that she had placed such notes on the computer knowing that I would come across them. I told her that she makes me feel disgusted. Either she's suddenly changed her mind or whatever, which is okay if that's how she wants it, but if that wasn't the case, she was attempting to use my anxiety illness as a weapon against me. Anyway, you all reached out to me and provided me with much needed assistance. Responding to your messages made a significant difference in reducing my anxiety for a few days. After that, I began the process of filing for divorce. Anxiety levels increased. Perhaps it was the realization that it was indeed the beginning of the end of over 15 years together. I've been doing well, and I'm beginning to believe that I don't care what she's doing. I realized I wouldn't have as much concern knowing she'd be gone all evening while I was at work, etc., and I stopped poking around. Despite the fact that she had erased everything, I still needed to check her watch when she would leave it out. It wasn't uncommon for me to persuade myself that it didn't matter that I was getting divorced when my worry would become unbearable. It was very awful today. I just had a horrible sensation that was overpowering. Because my anxiousness is psychosomatic, I've been feeling sick all day. After work tonight, I spent time with coworkers playing video games to keep myself entertained and distracted from my job. I couldn't stop myself from looking at her wristwatch as soon as we turned in for the night. I became obsessed with the point when I felt forced to look. I couldn't stop myself, it was like I couldn't. The girl sent me a few of texts that I'm not sure WW has seen, so I'm posting them here in case he does. If she doesn't, she'll find out very quickly that I looked, or she'll pretend they were hers and leave them for me to torture myself with. Her girlfriend informed her that they had agreed to be friends with benefits and that, until the divorce was finalized, there was nowhere else for them to hang together and smoke weed, probably marijuana, and maybe other narcotics. Not only that, but she also felt that WW was being too demanding, behaving as if they were in a relationship, and she didn't want to cope with the additional pressure. That she cares for her, but that WW is pushing her too much. I'm not going to murder myself. I'd never do anything like that to my friends or family, but I don't want to be awakened right now. My buddy, who does not suffer from anxiety, often tells me not to worry about anything. I'm at a loss for words. We are both in a financial bind that neither of us can get ourselves out of. Due to the fact that the home is not selling, we are compelled to live together. I also suffer from deep-seated concerns of self-worth. I'm seeing a therapist, but the fact that I can count on one hand how many periods I've had in the previous 7 years as a 35-year-old guy is depressing. Previous cheating when I was a teen, being broken up with on April Fool's Day on speakerphone, and other factors played a role, but being told she isn't that attracted to me, and then starting to use post-cancer as an excuse not to be in constant denial completely destroyed how I felt on the inside of me. I realize it's just been 2 months, and based on what many of you have mentioned, it will most likely take years to feel normal again after being away from her. I'm not sure I'll be able to go on for years. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to put my confidence in a girl again. I'm not able to eat. I can't sleep for more than 5 hours at a time. The fact that my family and friends speak to me on a daily basis, and that my boss is one of my closest friends, and that I am his team leader, all contribute to my ability to function at work in some capacity. I realize I'm publishing a gigantic wall of words, and I really apologize for that. Maybe I'll put it at the top of the list. Anyway, I'm just hoping that you nice strangers will be able to assist me in some manner, as you have done in the past, since this is killing me. Because she continues twisting the blades and I'm an idiot who keeps staring, I've informed my friend that all I'm doing is giving her more knives. Thank you for your time, even if you have only read thus far and haven't added anything. You are under no need to do so, just as I am not searching for karma. I'll leave you with this thought. In the shower today, I had an epiphany which completely explains everything. As a prostitute, I was partner number 60 or 70 something since she said she had felt like a piece of meat and been treated as such for many years when she was younger, so she behaved as if she still did. I believe she just manipulated everybody she needed to in order to get what she desired. She stopped when she realized she would get what she wanted from me even if she didn't quit. The individual involved in the first incident was a part-time marijuana dealer. Why she was at his house, she doesn't recall, according to her. Well, I believe it was a ruse to get free cannabis, just as it is today with this girl. I believe that is evident in the most recent texts as well. Thank you for taking the time to read this.